Be who you are, man. It's okay. Oh
You
gosh.
already got Jordan, man. Relax.
Come on. Be Pippin, stay in the background, be cool. It's okay, bro. Oh man, but we are live. Been a minute. Appreciate everybody tapping in. It's your boy G, along with Alex, the episode of 1600. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you show love to us across all platforms on YouTube, Instagram, and all of that. We definitely live and gonna be active on there. Appreciate all the support you guys are showing. A lot's been going on. So the last episode, we weren't able to get things rolling as we would have liked. And we talked about it. We had some issues going on with LA Sports Report. We'll have that back up and active soon, and we'll give you guys updates as things come along properly with that. But in the meantime, as things were going on, we're working that out. We talked about the conference finals are now here, and we missed the last series that all played out. Alec, you have any quick first thoughts before we jump into what we see here with Cat and the success they just had over the last couple of days? Any thoughts about the Lakers and all of that just all went down?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what we missed, a brief summary: Lakers went out sad, Clippers went out
Yeah.
sad. Who else? Bucks went out sad.
Yeah.
A few teams that we had at least some expectations for kind of went out sad. And some of that was due to injury, like we talked about. A lot of teams were banged up this postseason. It seemed like even more than usual.
Right.
But for those LA squads, it kind of went as expected for the Lakers. We joked about Lakers in 7 and don't let us get one and all of that. But
Let's get one. Formula. We found the formula. Yeah.
we knew the Nuggets were the better team in that matchup. But the Clippers, I felt like had an opportunity to advance there and kind of let it get away there against Dallas, who now finds themselves in the Western Conference Finals. So maybe ultimately they just lost to the better team.
I guess so, and yeah, we'll talk about them more in depth in a moment. But to the teams that are now hearing what we just saw, you guys saw just 2 days ago, Big Purr Cat found a way alongside Rudy Gobert and Ant and all those guys to come back and beat the Nuggets to advance to the conference finals. A very impressive victory that many folks did not see coming. People have thought things were falling in line for the Nuggets yet again to go on and potentially repeat. But the Wolves had other plans and found the formula that was able to actually work versus the Nuggets in the full series and get them over the hump and in impressive fashion. What are your thoughts on the Nuggets getting the job done? You think they can carry that over? Excuse me, to the Mavs series as well.
You said the Nuggets. Did you mean the Wolves getting the job done?
Yeah, okay. To the Mavs series as well. Excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, a large part of why this team has been so great has been that defense. Like we talked about it all season. Their defense was elite, anchored by 3 or 4-time defensive player of the year now, Rudy Gobert. And just we saw them even in that game 7, like when they tightened the screws on defense, and Denver had that 20-point lead that they blew in the third quarter. When they tightened the screws on defense and Denver missed 10, 11 shots in a row, the game completely flipped. And had to have that ability to really lock in on defense is huge. I talk about the moniker defense wins championships. Obviously, you got to be able to put the ball in the hole too, but because they're so elite on that end, I think it makes up for some of the deficiencies that they do have on offense when the game can slow down. So, I was very impressed by what they've been able to do with a fairly young team. Like they weren't the youngest in this playoffs. Cat has had some experience in the playoffs, and Ant has had limited experience, but even at the ripe age of 22, like he's looking like a seasoned vet in moments. Like he's showing flashes of the top 5 that dude wanted to claim him as in earlier episodes. So I am impressed with what this Wolves team has been able to accomplish, especially getting through Denver, who was my favorites to win it all.
Yeah. Before we go further, let's go ahead and jump into that. Now, we talked during the Lakers series. We had that guy coming here and comment talking about Ant's going to be top 5 if he goes on to the finals. And you shut that down pretty quick. I understand the thought, just seeing what that would require and believing that he could potentially rise up that high if they actually got the job done. But we didn't see it likely, so I understood why you were pushing back against it. But with the Wolves now getting the job done and people have them favored in this series against the Mavs, do you think Ant can actually be top 5 at the end of this run he's on right now?
I think if they're able to complete this run, like a finals run, I think it's reasonable to have him in discussions. There's still some guys there that it's hard to jump him over, even though they got bounced early, like a Steph Curry or an Embiid or that. Like I think some of those guys are locked. So he might be like right outside of that, but like if he makes a finals run, I think he has to be in those discussions for
Yeah,
sure. Just at the age of 22, it also has to be like his play has to be there too.
sure.
Because like not that they won in spite of him, he just himself like did not have a good offensive game, but he contributed in other ways. Like he contributed on the defensive end, especially, and he found ways to impact the game with his playmaking ability as well too. So
Sure.
you saw that the great players can impact the game even when their shots not falling, and he was doing that too. So I just think like he's going to need to have those 35, 40 balls
Hmm.
in these games in the conference finals, and should they make the finals too, to be really solidified in that top 5 discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. To his performance in the last game, he did not start off well. He started off, he was like 0 for 7 or whatever, 1 for
Yeah,
7,
airballing and yeah.
airballing, all kinds of stuff. So for folks that were saying, "Oh, Ant can't be top 5 because his performance was bad," while he did not have the greatest numbers, he executed at the times when he most needed to. Yes, he started out very shaky, but his confidence did not waver in that, which I thought was very impressive in that game. He still was saying, "I'm gonna get my stuff off. I'm gonna find a way. We're not gonna lose this game. I'm gonna keep holding on." And his part of the reason they were able to come back was his confidence in his the thing we hate to say, but his leadership through that turnaround. I think
No, he is a great leader as a young guy. Yeah.
he appears to be a great leader, and he kept the morale high for that squad to be able to execute as they needed to during the turnaround in the second half, which they were able to fully execute upon. So to the point about him being top 5, when we have our superstar players, it isn't fully always about the full game in my eyes, but it's about when you need them most, can you turn to this guy over anybody else and get the job done? And Ant showed that even when he starts off bad and he's 1 for 8 or whatever it is, at the end of the game when you need to get a bucket, you still can turn to him and say, I believe in him to get the job done. So, yeah, I think he can rise up to the top 5 if he carries on. And I don't think what we saw in this last game shuts down that potential. So, yeah, very excited to see what goes on next with him, and looking forward to see how far folks fully agree in his rise as he goes on from here.
With that too, I mean, I want to talk about a couple of the other guys in the Wolves. One of them being the guy pictured there behind him, Mike Conley. We saw that his impact is huge on the game as well.
Yep.
The game that they had without him, the Nuggets were able to really key in on Ant and double him and make things difficult for him as the primary ball handler. But we saw the importance of having that lead guard, that distributor that can really be like the general of that offense.
Yep.
Like we saw how sorely the Phoenix Suns missed that when the Wolves were able to sweep them in round 1. And we saw how important it was to the Wolves to have him back on the floor in game 7, and it opens up the game for others to have easier looks and opportunities, and just having that veteran presence there too was key for them. But then along with that, 6th man of the year, Naz Reid showed why he won that award. He was huge for them in the minutes where Cat picked up his 5th foul and they needed him to step in, and he was huge on both sides of the ball, offensive rebounds, cleaning it up, and then a couple timely blocks on the other end, blocked Jokic. They just had guys step up and down the lineup. We saw Gobert hit a fadeaway, which we've never seen him do probably in his career, like he did there. McDaniels had an efficient offensive night. Like, really from him, all they're asking for is to just play elite defense and make your open shots. But when he's able to create for himself too, that's just icing on the cake. So they got contributions from everybody like they needed in this game, especially when their superstar his shot wasn't falling. They got every contribution that they needed from everyone up and down the lineup. So really, really impressive Timberwolves team. First time they're in the conference finals since 2004, I believe, 20 years. So shout out to Minnesota. I'm excited for this series coming up.
Definitely going to be a fun one. As we tie things back to LA. We're being an LA sports show, and we talk a lot about the Lakers. What can the Lakers learn from the Wolves and the run that they're on right now?
Definitely, and we talked about it even before the season started, bringing in another big, like bringing in some more size. I think we felt like Minnesota was the best matchup for Denver. We didn't necessarily think they'd beat them, but we felt like they were the best matchup because they had the size, the bodies, at least to throw at Jokic to make it more difficult for him. And we see that, like the game has gone to a more 5 out or 4 out, 1 in primarily.
Hey, that's embarrassing. That says form the Wolves. I didn't realize that. from the Wolves. Jesus
Where?
Christ.
Oh, in the ticker or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even notice.
My bad.
You're good. But we've seen like the game go to more spacing and 3-point shooting and needing your 4 and your 5 to be a 3-point shooter as well. But having that size on the interior proved very beneficial for the
Yeah.
Wolves in that matchup. And I think we talked about like Jackson Hayes, okay, like good rim runner, but we didn't feel like he had the girth really to handle guys uh, down there on the low block. So.
In a way, it almost felt like the Wolves copied us originally in that we see how Jokic has made the rise that he has made, and now it's about, okay, what do we need to have on our team to counter what he has? And we saw the last one that beat the Nuggets before the run that they went on were us, and how we went on in our run, and having Anthony Davis at the 4 alongside Dwight and JaVale, as you were talking about, and having Big you throw at Jokic in rotation to be able to slow him down and then make things open up for the rest of the squad. The Wolves doubled down on that. Instead of having an aged guy in Dwight Howard, they went and got a guy still something in his prime, Rudy Gobert, to put alongside Cat. And Cat got able to move to the 4 spot where he feels more comfortable at, and open up that offense, and then add more on the defensive side to be able to throw at Jokic, make it more a challenge for him, as well as adding in Naz Reid, as you mentioned earlier as well. So they learned from us a little bit. We now have to learn from them and adjust and bring some more bigs in ourselves, because Anthony Davis keeps on saying he wants to play the 4 again still, and that we didn't have the right guys at that 5 spot to be able to allow him to do that. And I think we'll still need guys of that proper stature to be there going forward to let these guys execute as best as they can if you want to see them reach this level that the Wolves have right now.
Yeah, I mean, Dwight is a little long in the tooth at this point, but like we never should have went away from that formula in terms of having the size in there.
One more year at least.
Especially when we saw what Jokic was able to do with Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood. Like we thought, okay, they're cool players, but we never felt like those guys at the center spot were really going to be formidable against the more elite big men in the league. So I think definitely that's a position of need. And then what else can we learn from the Wolves? I think getting a little bit more athletic at the wing position. I talked about Jaden McDaniels. More athletic, younger wings that can guard because we do have wings, but they're not consistently able to keep guys in front like Rui, like Taurean Prince, who was inconsistent for us and inconsistent shooting the ball too. I think getting more athletic at that wing spot so we can guard the perimeter a little bit better would be.
That slight note, I don't know if it's just because that's how things go when you're partnered with LeBron and Anthony Davis, but a few of those guys, not that we expected a whole lot more from them, but they ended up just being kind of spot-up shooters. I think Taurean Prince was more of a spot-up shooter, essentially. Cam, when he played with somewhat of a shooter, Rui even at times wasn't really versatile with the ball. Like he kind of was spot up and or post up every once in a while. But having guys that put the ball on the floor really makes something happen alongside Bron would be nice to have as well, especially as Bron's continuing to rise in age, though he still is maintaining his ability a bit. Having somebody else he can turn the ball over to on the perimeter and make something happen would definitely be a clutch thing. So, yeah, hopefully we take that as well from this Wolves squad and do what we need to accordingly to get in position ourselves. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, we'll stay tuned on that, and we'll talk more Lakers as the offseason comes around. But continuing on with what's going on at the moment here.
Oh, hold up.
Last thing I'll say, the last one with the Lakers. Yes, you want to go with the last note going on with them right now as well. There is some talk swirling about our head coaching search, and folks are keying in on JJ Redick as the postseason goes on. He's doing his best to kind of dampen the rumors a bit, or trying to keep things under control as he's doing his job at ESPN right now. But it seems like he's in prime position to take over as our next head coach. What are your thoughts on him potentially being the next the best option for us going forward?
Hell no, man. Hell no. And that's not to say that like JJ can't be a really good head coach. Yeah, I mean, we saw LeBron with that full wine bottle on the sideline when he was at the Cavs game. Like, come on, alcoholic was out there. But I mean, JJ clearly great basketball mind, put in a lot of years in the league. I think he can be a great coach. I just think for a first-time head coach to take on the Lakers job, the LeBron-led Lakers job
Mm,
in LA, it's a whole lot of scrutiny. There's a whole lot more that comes with it beyond just the basketball. So like I think he'd be great at the X's and O's of it, but in terms
yeah,
of managing the scrutiny, managing the personalities, because he's never been in that position where he's had to,
yeah,
especially arguably the GOAT, be underneath your supervision as
yeah,
head coach. To be that your first time gig, we saw how it went with Steve Nash in Brooklyn, who was a much better player than JJ Redick was, like in his
sure,
career, an all-time great,
yeah,
and he wasn't even respected coming in the door from by Kyrie nor KD really. Like KD
yeah.
wanted him there, but they kind of wanted him there uh, as a pseudo like almost like an assistant. Like
They
they
didn't
were
want to
kind of
be a
running the
coach. Yeah,
show.
they just wanted
Exactly.
to show face.
They
Yeah.
straight up even said like we don't need a head coach. So like I really don't want round two of that in JJ Redick being head coach of his buddy LeBron, who he does the podcast with.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
go for it. Go for it.
yeah. I was gonna say to the X's and O's. I do think he could be very serviceable in that regard. But
Yeah.
in regards to the management, as you pointed out, I do agree that that could be a challenge, especially with the LA media. Respectfully, we just saw earlier this year he got into a little bit of a war of words with Doc
Yeah.
Rivers about some things going on in the
Oh yeah.
past. And Doc Rivers, compared to the LA media, is a whole different animal. I think it will be 10 times worse after any 3-game stretch of bad games. The pressure that'll be on him, and
Yeah.
seeing how he deals with that potentially could be a challenge. But seeing that he appears to be up for the challenge, it could work out. But yeah, it's just gotta fully understand the beast you're about to face, I guess, or how you want to describe it. So, yeah, we'll see how it could work out. Folks keep on alluding to things maybe announced once the postseason ends, because he is working with ESPN right now and handling all the posting things going on at the moment. If that becomes official at some point, we'll address it and see how things can move best from there. But for right now, yeah, I don't know if he would be my top option. Who would be it for you if not JJ?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I think JJ deserves that head coaching job, but not Lakers out of the gate. Like for that Lakers job, like I think he needs to put in years of coaching, even if it's just as an assistant first.
I wouldn't even
But
say that. I would say it's not about him having more years under his belt. Or I guess we're saying the same thing. My point is just that being the first job being LA, I think is what you're
yeah,
saying.
no, yeah,
Yeah, the first
exactly.
job being LA is a very hard first
It's a
job to
different
have.
beast.
As we
Yeah,
just saw with Darvin Ham, and Darvin Ham had experience
and
at
he had
least
years on his belt
being on the
too.
sideline.
Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, dealing with that is going to be a big challenge for him. We end up saying the same thing in
right.
different words, but yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. And if he gets there, hopefully he handles it well, and we'll be rooting for him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
If he does get there, like they'll need to take the approach of how they did where they had like former head coaches like next to him too. I think
mhm,
like because yeah, he's gonna need help. He's gonna need
yeah,
help. But in terms of who should, like I wanted Budenholzer. Like as funny as that may sound now, like we've had some criticisms of him, but
yeah,
he's had the playoff experience. He's had the finals experience. The one knock on him has been adjustments in the playoffs.
yeah.
I think next to a LeBron James, that helps because that's one of the better player coaches in terms of adjustments and understanding the game like that. So I think Budenholzer would have been great, but I don't know if it's official, but it definitely has been heavily rumored that he was going to be the Suns.
I thought he
Next
signed a
head coach.
5-year deal, or no?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember if he
Yeah,
signed
I
it
think that was
or
official.
not. Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah, like he's off the table. So in terms of who else was on that list, I think they had Kenny Atkinson on there. I don't love that for the Lakers either. Like a big part of that is being that LeBron is still here. Like if it's a younger team, younger star, maybe a Kenny Atkinson works a little bit better. But I feel like you need a coach with championship pedigree to handle a LeBron-led team.
mhm,
Um, and so, like, I would love Ty Lue if Ty Lue became available, but I think the Clippers want to bring him back as
yeah.
well. So I really don't know because those were the main guys that were on the list, those
Mhm.
four. So I really don't know who it is beyond
And
those.
also,
So
you said Sam Cassell, Budenholzer,
oh,
Atkinson.
I didn't say Cassell. I would love Cassell too. He's put in plenty of years as an assistant, and I think he would be a good coach. I think he would have the respect of those guys too.
They also said there was another guy, Borrega, I think, who was the Hornets
I
coach.
do not want
And
Borrego.
we kind of clowned him when he was on the Hornets squad.
Yeah.
Respectfully, there was a
Yeah.
moment I forgot what happened. I think LeVar was talking about him or something like that. And there was someone we talked about him.
He was like a little bit too headstrong as a coach.
I think that's what it was. Why isn't LaMelo playing or something like that? I forgot exactly. Yeah, we had criticism about him in the past. So yeah, I don't know if going from that and not being able to handle that to going to here is the right step. So we'll see.
I think he would probably get the David Blatt treatment, like LeBron firing him midway through the season.
I guess real quick. I guess the last thing I'll say is that LeBron should just say what he wants instead of doing the podcast. Get the job,
and he's never in the GM decisions and all that.
GM decisions, and it comes out that he has no hands involved in the coaching search and all of that. It's like, Ron, it's year 35. We know if you don't get the coach you want, you're gonna have a whole bunch of subliminal messages. Just say what you want, man. At this point, we don't need any interviews.
He probably wants JJ. Like that's the rumored guy.
Just say it and get it done. But instead, it seems like he's doing the whole back channel of he's going to send subliminals out, and if we don't sign the right guy, he's going to be pounding the sideline, all kinds of stuff. We're going to get another trade deadline interview. We remember the trade deadline interview after last year where he was like, "Is this team committed?" We're going to
when they didn't get Kyrie that year.
It's like, all right, bro, we don't need any more of this. Just say what you want and let's go. So hopefully he does that, and that switch flips at some point, so it happens. But also, I guess the last part could be he might not say anything because he might not be here. That's the option of going somewhere. So if he's going to be here, though, he should say something and just get what you want so we can go forward and execute as we need to. So, yeah, hopefully all is handled, and we'll address things further once the basketball is being played still is all wrapped up. So, yeah, plenty of fun stuff going on with the Lakers always, somehow, whether playing or not, fully in the cycle. So, yeah, good stuff on that front. Going to the other side, before we go on to the playoffs, we'll discuss with the Clippers. They, as you talked about, fell short yet again. There's rumblings of Paul George potentially being out, leaving, as he has yet to, I think, sign his extension. James Harden and Kawhi are being looked at kind of funny by a lot of folks, as people had high hopes for the Clippers squad this last season, and they did again, fell short. I don't know what the Clippers are doing at this point. What are we doing? Alec, how do you feel with this Clippers squad, and what's the direction be going from here?
Yeah, unfortunately, James Harden kind of just pulled another James Harden. Like he had some really solid games in the front half of the series, and then the last two he was pitiful. And Paul George, the last two was kind of pitiful too, shooting the ball.
Kawhi was hurt.
Yeah, Kawhi was hurt once again. So it was kind of the same story, just adding James Harden to it. Yeah, and that's unfortunate because they really were playing some really great basketball at a point in the regular season. And even in this series against Dallas, they were playing some great basketball. They kind of fell into old ways of being inefficient and a little bit what's the word, like less aggressive at times in the back half of the series when it came to net crunching time and closing moments and in elimination games. Paul George and Harden didn't come through, so it was rough to see their season end that way, especially if you are a Clippers fan. And I know Lawrence Frank has talked about not bringing back this Clippers team the exact same way. Like they need to add to the roster a little bit in some way. Going forward. We talked about before this season that we felt like they couldn't run it back with Kawhi and Paul George and expect a different result. And like we kind of see that we were right in that way. Like they did add James Harden to it, but this nucleus, this main core of Paul George and Kawhi, it just hasn't been able to get the job done, largely due to injury year in and year out. So I think they're gonna have to shake up this duo a little bit. As you mentioned, Paul George has been rumored potentially be out, and teams have been talked about have been like Philadelphia. People briefly mentioned Cleveland. What else have I heard? There was like two other spots I'm blanking on too, but
they're kind of saying he's gone.
Yeah, he could remain a Clipper if they work out a deal, but there's a couple spots where he could be late. Oh, the Knicks was another one where he could be landing next year. But if they were to do something like I feel like they have to shake up. They have to shake up this duo because as great as Kawhi is, we've seen him be great when he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He played a pretty much healthy season the entire season and then got banged up the last 5 and
Yeah.
couldn't play in the playoffs. So I think they have to move on from thinking this duo can get them over the hump.
Yeah, part of why there was some hesitation to rebuild in our discussions before was because we know they're entering a new arena next year, in regards to attracting fans and wanting to make sure that that new Intuit Dome is going to be full
Put butts in seats. Yeah,
you want to have the right stars in the building. When you've seen these stars play multiple years and they've yet to have grand success and they fell short yet again, it's hard to use these same stars to allure a lot of new fans into your building to believe that this team is going to be a squad they can root for to go all the way. So, yeah, sad that it has to be that way. You know, I'm a big Paul George fan and still going to be supporting him wherever he goes from here. Fan of Kawhi as well. And see his talent, but we also see the reality of what his body is happening to his body at this point, alongside James Harden and how he's been efficient as well. So is what it is. But I think actually a fresh start for the team could be nice to have a fresh start at the end of the building as well. We had an effort. We tried to have the stars and have this last run for them, and now we're entering a new building, and we have a new group of guys that you guys can rally around and come to and grow together with as a team and as a fan base as well. And that could be a nice way to pitch it as they find their way, because I think if you run it back with the squad, it's going to be the same result, which I don't think Clippers fans want to see happen again. They want to see this team have success. There were talks of them finally having their year and all this kind of stuff. We've been saying it for some time now. The Clippers are finally getting over the hump, and they still have yet to get to a conference final. So it's like, what are we doing? So they have to. I think they have to go a different direction than what they've done so far. Another era kind of falling short. Sad they had to go that way. But interested to see if they decide to actually call it an end and bring some new pieces in there. I do think so. There are a lot of there's a whole new crop of young kids entering the league now that surely could be attractive for this squad. And similar as we talked about with Russell Westbrook, where you're in LA still without the same pressures of being a Laker, I think you can bring some young guys in here and rebuild and not have them feel wear the world on their shoulders because they're not dealing with the same scrutiny.
The same expectations. Yeah.
So I think they're in a spot where a rebuild will be okay for them as they enter their new space. So interesting how that goes. I don't know how podcast P live from Cleveland would ring off if he goes that way in comparison to live from LA. But wherever he goes, hope for the best for Paul George, as I mentioned, and we'll see how all these guys bounce around from here.
Yeah, I do like the Philly fit. Like if he were to move on and go play with the Sixers, as we've talked about, Tobias Harris as the third option, it's not getting the job done clearly.
Yeah. Wrap that up,
please. But in terms of like the direction the Clippers should go, like I'm not exactly sure what they should do at this point. Like I do feel like they probably should break up the duo, but in terms of like the archetype of player that they should target, I mean, like they do have James Harden, who has been still a really good point guard for them. It's just, like we know the playoff deficiencies.
We do it like this real quick. You mentioned the Knicks, you mentioned the Cavs, and you mentioned who's the other team you mentioned?
The 76ers.
And the 76ers. Beyond the obvious, we know a couple of names are probably untouchable, like Maxey and Embiid. Beyond names like that, who would you target from those squads to bring back to the Clippers? If you could pull a star, a rising star, if you get what I'm saying, one of them squads to kind of make a new centerpiece for your team, who would you try to go after?
It's funny. I mean, it's funny because a couple of guys they traded there, like the Covingtons and the Nick Batums, like those guys, because those guys were great. But like a Kelly Oubre as well too, in terms of those athletic wings that can play both ways. There's no one else really that jumps out to me from Philadelphia's rotation that I would really want if I'm them. Like backup point. I mean, it depends what they want to do with Russ as well too. Like whether Russ wants to resign there and try to run it back, or if he wants to get more money somewhere else.
Probably on the top two. If PG is back, he probably stays. But if he's gone, then it's a new direction. So he probably leaves also.
That's possible. Yeah, because they have some like backup backup guards in terms of like Melton and
Right. Bones.
yeah. Or no, I'll talk about like for Philly, like Campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like Campaign as well too. And but yeah, some of those other teams, Knicks, the Knicks were just banged up this
Right.
season. But there's guys there that you could definitely could be serviceable in LA for sure.
Got it.
Cleveland, I don't. There's guys there, but I don't know about the fit because it sounds like Darius Garland is going to be potentially on the trade market.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's an extreme needle mover from what you get in James Harden, because he's
Right.
kind of a little
Same.
inconsistent in the playoffs as well too. So yeah, I'm interested to see like what Lawrence Frank puts together in terms of roster construction for the Clippers, because something's got to change. Like tweaks have to be made for sure. Maybe it's not a complete overhaul, but yeah, they got to make some tweaks to this roster if they're
Yeah.
serious about winning a title, or like if they really just want to put butts in seats, maybe they do run it back like one last time.
Mhm.
But if they're serious about winning a title, I feel like tweaks have to be made to this roster.
Yeah, they'll surely sell. Paul George has a big fan base. Kawhi, Harden have a lot of fans. So,
Yeah.
in regards to wanting to make sure you sell tickets as you need to, they are still the right attraction. But for the fans that care about the product fully, there's going to be a little apprehension knowing what they've continued to put out over the last few years. So,
Right.
yeah, we'll see how that's handled. We'll talk about that further in the offseason. But for now, interesting things to just keep on the mind as things play out. So, interesting stuff there. We bring them up, and they're no longer playing now because they lost to the Mavs in the playoffs and fell short to them. And the Mavs go on to now reach the conference finals and go up against the Wolves where we started at, and now circling back to the conference finals. What's going on with that? We can talk about some predictions for that as things are getting underway tomorrow. They start off in the East tomorrow, but still, we look at both sides and just at all. I have the Wolves and Mavs picture here. What are your first thoughts about this series as it's about to get underway?
Yeah. Really didn't expect Dallas to be here. The Wolves made a little more sense as a top 3 seed, but really didn't expect. Like I said, I thought the Clippers were going to beat them, and I thought OKC was going to beat them in 6 or 7 as well too. But the Dallas has that offensive ceiling when you have those two supernovas in Luka and Kyrie, who can go off at any moment. And they really did a good job at the trade deadline in bringing in PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford and those guys to fill out the roster defensively and bring them more size, lob threats. PJ Washington's able to hit the open three as well too. So they brought in guys that really fit well for Luka's game. And then Kyrie has been great stepping up when Luka's shot hasn't been falling, because he hasn't really been playing his best basketball either. But they've still managed to advance even with Luka not having the 35 point triple doubles and all of that, or at least not efficiently. So yeah, I've been impressed because I did not expect this Dallas team to be in the Western Conference Finals, but it's hard for me to predict how this series goes because you do have those two offensive juggernauts in Luka and Kyrie, but you have a elite defense like we talked about with Minnesota, and Ant, who can match their offensive production as well in games. So I think this is really going to be it's going to be a heavyweight bout. I think it goes 6 or 7.
Yep.
I think I probably slightly lean Wolves too, just because of how elite their defense truly is. But it's gonna be tough. Like they've never been this far, and Luka has. He didn't win when he played Golden State, but he has had that experience going this far. And he's got a head coach in Kidd who has that experience as well too, and has been doing a good job with this group. So yeah, I could see it going either way, but I'm going to slightly lean Wolves, I guess in 7.
I slightly lean Wolves as well. Again, I'm another one of the fans caught up in the Anthony Edwards hype. We've talked about him since day
Hard
one.
not to be.
I talked about the Wolves and having eyes on them, and glad to see them reach this far as they have. So salute to them, what they got going on. But yeah, even beyond that, I do think, as you pointed out, they have the right formula going up against the Mavs to counter the greatness that Luka and Kyrie will throw at them. I think even with the rise of and success of the other players for the Mavs, PJ Washingtons and Derrick Jones Juniors and all of that have been great role pieces alongside them. I think the Wolves have the perfect counters to all that they are going to have to throw at them in regards to having Cat and Rudy down low, amongst others, Jaden McDaniels and all the whole list we can run down. So yeah, I think the Wolves have the right formula for it, and I think they can execute as they need to in key moments to counter the clutch moments that we know that Luka and Kyrie surely will have as well. So yeah, I think this is going to be a long series as well, 6 or 7 games for sure. And yeah, the Wolves are who I have picked. I guess the only apprehension I have in that is that everyone's picking them. It seems like everybody's leaning towards the Wolves. They're the favorite. And we've seen a couple of times now where everybody thought someone was going to win a game. Everybody thought the Nuggets were going to win the last series.
Oh, yeah.
And came out and shut them down. So it's very possible that Jason Kidd finds a scheme that's right for this Mavs squad to counter what the Wolves have at their disposal. And can actually be the ones to get the job done, which many folks don't seem to believe will be the case. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun one either way. I'll be very excited to see how things play out. Glad to see that Kyrie has shut down a lot of the hate that was thrown his way prior to this season. There were a lot of folks that had their
that's what happens when you hoop.
Huh?
I said that's what happens when you hoop.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'm just glad he's hooping and doing what he's doing and executing to this point. So, yeah, I'll be happy either way. I know, like I said, I was a big fan of Ant, but seeing what he's going on his side as well is dope to see also. And yeah, I'm just going to sit back with my popcorn and enjoy how this plays out. But for prediction's sake, I'll echo Wolves in 7. So,
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
The game I love, the game we love is back, man. Parity in the league is back. Like you mentioned, it's not going exactly to plan. It's not going. The Nuggets were supposed to be the team that ran through it. The Bucks were supposed to be some favorites in the East, and it's nice to have a little bit of unpredictability in what teams are going to end up in the
listen.
matchups.
A little bit of parity is one thing. We're almost getting to too much parity right now. Might not be.
That's not going to happen though. We know Pacers are not. The Pacers are not making the finals.
But the fact that there's still a chance, it has a lot of folks concerned. So just to that point, is it actually we're at a point where it's to the question, is too much parity actually a bad thing for the league? We've seen now that we've had 6 straight years of different finals winners, and those that won haven't got back to the finals even, I believe, as some of them lost early, as we just saw the Nuggets do. And we have new opponents in these finals, in these conference finals each year. Is having this much parity actually a bad thing for the league?
Hell no. It's beautiful, man. Like I think it's good for the brands when you have a villain like kind of established in the league. So when you did have like the Warriors as a villain because they were the Avengers like against everybody, it's easy to market that. But I think it's also fun to have the rising star like an Anthony Edwards who wasn't predicted to go this far with the Wolves on this stage as well too. And you have a Luka Doncic who maybe the Mavs aren't the biggest market in the league, but you have a very marketable star there who's you've been trying to kind of crown for years now and hasn't been able to eclipse and get that MVP. Maybe he can get that finals berth as well too. So like you have some other interesting storylines to where you don't need the villain or the villain arc in the finals. You don't need the Warriors, Cavs, round 4 in the finals. I think it's good to have parity. It's good to have some variability in who we're seeing in these final matchups because ultimately it's just about getting like the best basketball games.
Yeah.
I'd say last year maybe it wasn't the 2 best teams. Like I think there were better teams in Miami last year, but this year I don't think we're gonna get the Pacers in the finals. Like I think we're gonna get Boston, the best team in the East, and I think between Dallas and Minnesota, you're gonna have a great opponent for them. So I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah, I agree. I could see if I was Adam Silver, like, hey, can I get one Lakers-Knicks finals just to help our ratings out just a little bit? But outside of that, I think with the league becoming even more and more each year, a players' league, not only within the league itself, but in regards to fans and how they gravitate towards places, fans last year. Everybody was, even they didn't win, everybody loved Jimmy Butler last year. Now everybody loves Ant this year. As you pointed out, things shift and they follow players, and as long as the players grab attention, no matter what team they're playing on, things can still be successful. So the Pacers somewhat are stepping into the villain role this year in a slight way with how they've found their way into the conference finals and how they've talked trash a little bit along the way, which has been interesting to see. We'll talk about that further in a moment. But outside of that, I think all these squads are teams that folks want to see, and that even if miraculously, knock on wood or whatever, if we got Pacers Mavs finals, folks will be tuned in. I think it would be a good product still. So we'll see how things go. As we both have said, we don't think it's going to play out that way. And going to that, we have the Celtics Pacers series to address as well. Your thoughts? You already kind of said it, but any chance for the Pacers to find a way to win this series against Boston?
There's always a chance, but it's like a 5% chance.
5%.
Yeah. I mean, like I think they will win a game. I don't think they get swept because we've seen what Boston does in these series. Like they play with their food a little bit.
Yeah.
To Matt's question in our group, yes, people will be up in arms if they lose game 1 or 2 at home. But yeah, I think
don't get me started. Don't get me started. I dare you.
That Jalen dancing video gets me every time.
I dare you. I dare you. Lose one game and watch what happens. Go
ahead. But yeah, I think it's Celtics in 5. At the most 6 games. That's if things go horrible. But I think it's Boston in 5 games. I think they're a significantly better basketball team, even without Porzingis.
Mm-hmm.
Al Horford, wow, I'm blanking on his name. Miles Turner is not going to put enough pressure on the rim and Al Horford to where it's that big of a loss to not have Porzingis in this matchup. So I don't think they're going to be able to take advantage of that. I can't wait to punt game 2. Yeah. Already copping, please.
Yeah. See, already. Whatever.
But yeah, I think they take care of business in 5 games. And I don't think it's it might be interesting games. I don't think they're blowouts to where Cleveland kind of got blown out in a couple of those. I think the Pacers can make the games interesting. But the Celtics are just a better team, kind of from top to bottom.
Sure.
And have tremendous amount more experience. Clearly, they've been 6 out of 8 years they've been in the Eastern Conference Finals, Eastern Conference merchants. But I do think they take care of business in the series.
I think the Celtics win, but I do give a little bit more or a little bit more respect to this Pacers squad and think they can put up a decent fight to make it more than just a gentleman's sweep. I think that it could be 6 games and not by accident with them actually winning a game impressively, seeing that both squads are healthy. And I think the Pacers' last couple opponents haven't been healthy during their run. Some folks even say that this run's been a fluke because the Knicks weren't healthy. And then I forgot who they played before that weren't healthy as well. The Bucks weren't healthy.
They probably don't beat the Bucks if they're healthy.
Sure. But not getting here, staying healthy, and the points they put on to get here, I do think that they have the right pieces to have a respectable performance versus the Celtics squad and give them a real run for their money as they go on their way to the finals. So, I think that counter to what you said, I do think that Miles Turner can put a little bit of pressure on the Celtics squad down low. I do think that seeing how we've seen a rise from the role players on this Pacers squad of the Nesmiths and the TJ McConnell, salute to Arizona Finest and other folks on that squad, though they still are lacking in regards to Benedict Mathurin, who's been out this whole time. Sadly, a lot of guys have been stepping across the board for this team that I think can counter, at least for a game or two, what the Celtics have to throw at them on that side as well. So I think it's going to be a good series, actually.
Who is guarding these guys, though? Who is guarding Tatum and Brown on that side of the ball for the Pacers? Nesmith and Nembhard and
it sounds nasty. It does sound nasty, but we have seen. I do think that with how this Pacers squad plays, that they can put up good performances enough to win.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think these games will be close, but I don't know.
I guess I'm not. I guess my point is that we have the same result, but I'm not saying it's going to be just a clear deficiency in regards to like how it was last series with the Celtics and the Cavs. I think the Pacers are going to put up good fights each game,
I'll
even
say,
in their defeats. Go ahead.
Like in order for them to make it like real serious, like where they're threatening the Celtics, like Tyrese Halliburton has to be aggressive from game 1, minute 1,
Sure.
and throughout the entire series. Like he can't have those games where he's only taking like 9 shots or whatever.
Right.
Like he has to be aggressive from start to finish, like he was in game 7 against the Knicks.
Right.
And he has to be letting it fly. It can't be because that opens up then his playmaking ability, which he's elite at.
Yep.
They're going to need him to be matching what the superstars of the Celtics are doing because he is their superstar. And if they're not getting that from him, they're not really getting 30 balls from anyone else on this roster. Like that's an anomaly if one of those guys is giving you 30. So yeah, if it's like what you're saying, where they're threatening, he's gonna have to play like a top 15 guy.
Sure. I don't know about top 15. That's the talk for later on, but I think he can get this team.
He's an all-star this year, Team USA, and all of that. So like he's gonna have to be all of that. Yeah.
I guess real quick, just off a whim, because you brought that up. Seeing how the playoffs have gone, would you make any adjustments to Team USA, the roster, who you've seen rise and fall in these playoffs?
Who's on that roster? Can we pull that up?
I can try to pull it up real quick. You want to answer Matt's question as I do that?
Is this version of the Eastern Conference worse than in the early 2000s? Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of if there was like another really lopsided one in terms of the favorites. I don't know. Like this, just like it feels like a foregone conclusion to me, just in terms of the caliber of teams we have here. Like I said, like I do think they can make some of these games interesting. I just think there's a clear talent skill gap between, especially like these starting fives, where didn't even talk about like Drew Holiday, Derek White. Derek White didn't have the greatest series against Cleveland, but he's a great role player. As much as we've joked about him throughout the season, like he's great as a role player for the Celtics. And then especially if they are able to get Porzingis back in game 3 or 4 in this series or whatever, like I think the gap is just too wide in terms of talent between these two teams.
For sure. So yeah, I got the USA roster now pulled up. Seeing how this is looking now, any adjustments you make with how things have played out since this announcement?
No, I like it. I think the main one that people have mentioned is like Jalen Brunson should get that spot, but he just fractured his hand too.
Really?
Over Halliburton.
Oh, okay. If he was healthy.
Yeah, if he was healthy, I would like that swap. But other than that, I like the names. Like maybe if there's someone else that kind of deserves it more than like Devin Booker, maybe. But
people
all the other
people
names
saying it's in the moment, so it is what it is, whatever, jokes or not. They were saying Jay McDaniels instead of D-Book.
No, I saw Maples tweeted that. I was like, no.
Get some more defense in there.
We already got we got Drew Holiday for that. Like Drew Holiday is the one of these names is not like the others in terms of who we're taking in. He's there for defense and for fit. But a lot of these guys can play defense at a high level. Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Kawhi, LeBron when he locks in, Embiid. Like these guys can play defense. We don't need to bring guys just for defensive purposes other than Drew.
Got it. Yeah. That's gonna be a fun squad to watch. I'm excited for these Olympics. It's gonna be good times. So
it'll be fun.
I want to get it out there since you brought up the Olympics real quick. We talked about the Celtics and the Pacers. We talked about the Mavs and the Wolves. We talked about Lakers, Clippers, and all of that. So I think we actually covered all of the NBA things we need to address for the moment. So a lot of good stuff there that we'll surely revisit later on in the week as episodes continue to come out for you guys. And a lot very interesting to see how this stuff plays out, and we'll have some reactions for you as these games start going down. So good stuff on that front. Going to the ladies' side, what's going on with them? The Sparks are still finding their way. Hasn't been the best start to their season, but still have been impressing folks just a little bit in regards to some of their young stars are playing well. In regards to seeing what Cam Brink is doing amongst others. You tuned into the Sparks and what's going on with them as their season just got underway this last week?
Yeah, a little bit. Sparks aren't flying yet. Clearly, they're
We'll
still
find
looking
a
for
way.
their first win of the season.
It's
But
early.
it's Dearica Hambry has been playing pretty well for them. You mentioned Cam Brink as a rookie in her minutes has impressed, especially on the defensive end. I think she's averaging like 3.5 blocks or something. I saw.
I saw that too.
Um, and I'm blanking on who had the triple double in the first game, but yeah, Sparks have been playing some fun basketball, and I think they will get their first win because they have a couple good juicy
Brandon
matchups
here,
coming
right
up.
here.
Yeah. Clarendon had a triple double in that game one, so that was dope to see. Lexi Brown gotten off to a slow start a bit, but I
All right.
think
We still rooting for you. All good.
she'll be there. She'll be there. It's cool that they're playing at the Long Beach like pyramid right now too.
Yeah.
People have joked about because there was like some like shadowing, like they have kind of weird lighting like
Yeah.
in that arena. But I think they'll be playing on a couple different floors like this season as well. Like
Right.
Matt and I went and saw them play at the Galen Center last season, so I'm sure they'll probably be playing in a couple different arenas this year. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna, like I said, they have a couple juicy matchups coming up in the Mystics and the Fever, who are also winless. So I think they're gonna get in the W column very soon here,
Yep.
and excited to see what they do in these upcoming games, upcoming weeks. Yeah.
Very much so. I think that things are going to turn around for them. Definitely have appreciated just the attention that all of these the WNBA has been getting already to start this season, regardless of how the success has fully been going. What is Matt saying in here?
He said he's seeing them tomorrow.
I'll see them in Long Beach tomorrow. Okay, so that's really a good game with the Mystics. So let us know what you think about that one as that gets underway. But yeah, it's just been good to see the attention that they've been getting this year and seeing the elevation that's been going on. We've seen commercials with Cam Brink in them. We see the Skims ads with them and how they're being highlighted. I know you want to talk about that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Save that for the Patreon or something for another day. But either way, they're getting more sponsorship. We just saw a big story come out with Beyond the Sparks. The Aces just got $100,000.
Oh yeah. I saw like the WNBA was like doing investigation into
like,
that.
Hey,
I was like, damn, we can't give them money.
Dang. Well, I think things will work out for them, and that's a great thing to see money going into their pockets because this rise is much deserved for them. So good stuff with that, and yeah, just going to be stay tuned and have more conversations to be had as season plays out about what's going on with our Spark squads and beyond. But you hit the nail on the head so far about what's going on with them, and excited to see how they turn things around from these first two games that they played so far.
Yeah. You talk about how I was just saying you talk about how the game is changing a bit. The endorsements starting to roll in. That Skims collab is huge. But yeah, I think that the ladies got to give a little bit more love to Caitlin Clark, man. Yeah. So salute to Kim K. Salute to Kim K.
Every once in a while. Before you go to we'll go to Cam Brink one more time and just talk about how she's doing individually. As I said, she's already getting highlighted a whole bunch. We just saw her alongside was that Rakia Jackson today at the Dodger game, and how she's doing. They're promoting this WNBA a whole lot. We're seeing the girls out at Dodger game. We just saw Angel Reese at a Glorilla concert. They're out and about all over the place doing whatever it is to get eyes on themselves and continue to market the game in a great way. And salute to them for that. Also, on top of that, we saw they're getting into the podcast. So we know podcasting is big in sports right now. Cam Brink sat down with Podcast P, we mentioned earlier today, and talked about how she had Kawhi giggling a little bit, which was crazy to see. glad to Kawhi, you're not slick is all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. But yeah, just the marketing of the WNBA. You just think it's continuing to go in the right direction?
Yeah, it's huge. I love it. I love that they're expanding now, have a larger audience, and that this young draft class has really opened up people's eyes to the game more. And it's gained like a respect factor. I feel like or is gaining a respect factor too. Just the level of play on the floor. And then these young ladies have been heavily marketable for various reasons that we can discuss at later dates as well too. But I think I was just gonna say, yeah, I think the ladies also gotta give some thanks, some credit to Caitlin Clark
Yeah.
because it hasn't just been solely on her back. As I said, like this draft class has been a huge part of why the game's expanding, but they got to thank her for some of this stuff and why it's booming the way it is. Because
I'm sure they have, but game is
the
started.
chartered,
Now, this is over. It's time to
no,
work.
no. Yes, I know, but just the chartered flights and everything. Like we've seen that meme where like we changed this broke we changed this broke man's life.
Right.
But like getting them the chartered flights for the league and just all the endorsements that are like starting to roll in and the eyes that are on the games too, like
Yeah.
the coverage of the games, the Fever having 90% of their games on ESPN and other broadcast networks. Like
Yeah.
the game definitely is changing, and she's a huge part of that. But as the poster child, they're not just letting her get her game off like that. They're making her work for it.
He is stressed.
They're making her work for it.
Game.
10 turnovers out the gate was rough in game one. But yeah, the adjustment period that Diana Taurasi was talking about during the women's tournament is definitely rang true for her in these early games. Yeah, go for it.
My only comment for Caitlin is just keep your head up. You got a couple of times running the screens, or hurting your ankles and face first into somebody with a screen. Somebody's in a hard screen on you. You just got to keep your head up. That's all it is. Whether screens are coming or just as these games are going on, there's been a couple of tough times for her, but I think things work out as they need to. But yeah, she's been letting out all the emotion right now, and I think it'll ease up at some point. But right now, a lot of ladies that have been playing in this league for a long time have messages saying, and they're making themselves loud and clear with what they got going on. So we'll see how she adjusts to it all.
Yeah, and hopefully we can keep the criticisms to basketball too, because people complaining about like her getting emotional like at the ref and that kind of thing. It's like that happens in sports all the time, man. Like, are we really criticizing her for that?
WNBA getting that NBA criticism. It's starting to happen already. So
true.
It is what it is. We just got to find the safe space within the conversation to probably have these talks, and we're slowly getting there.
For sure. But it's still like even with her struggling, like I'm tuning in. People are tuning in, like to watch her play, against these vets, especially. I'm sure people are gonna be tuned in when they play the Mercury and Diana Taurasi, especially. But yeah, it's been great. Like I said off air, I think like this is the most excited I've been for WNBA basketball ever. And I think it's come through. It's a great product so far, and I think it deserves the attention that it's getting. And so it's only going to multiply from here.
As you say, it's been a rough start for Caitlin, and she still has yet to put a win on the board, but surely will find her way. But in that, does the WNBA need Caitlin Clark to be successful in regards to does Caitlin need to and her team to be successful in order for the WNBA to continue to build as it has been this last year?
Yeah, I don't think I would go as far as to say need, but I think it does bode well for the WNBA. Like if she is at least getting her numbers, like maybe the Fever
she still is.
Like if maybe the Fever don't have a great overall season, like they're starting out the gate 0-4.
Right.
Maybe they don't have a playoff run in them, but I think as long as Caitlin is still having the deep three, the Steph Curry threes, and the big triple-double nights and that kind of thing, I think that's going to bode well. Like if she makes an all-star game, like in her first year and that kind of thing, I think she's probably going to be the rookie of the year once she kind of settles in.
Yeah.
But I think it bodes well for her to have the individual success for sure. And people have been having that argument. Like I mentioned, like we heard Jeff Teague say, like their WNBA is playing this all wrong, going at Caitlin hard with the double and triple teams and trying to make her look bad or whatever in games. But they also like they have pride too. They don't want to get embarrassed by this rookie. Like they don't want her to just come in and dominate. Like they want to show like, no, we can hoop too, and we've been doing this. So I understand it from the veteran perspective, and these teams that have won and are trying to win too. It's their profession. Like it's not just a game. They're getting paid to do this. So I understand both sides of that coin, but it definitely bodes well if she is getting her numbers.
Yeah, it bodes well. She'll get her numbers. I think in regards to team success, that will come at some point. Whether this team has to have another down year and get another draft pick that helps them along the way, and somehow it'll be crazy if we somehow got a Kaylin Page backcourt or something like that, or even beyond. Just getting her more help. But Shirley is on the way at some point. She won't stick down too long, and she'll certainly have her own success will help. But regardless of the team's success, her being the president that she is, embracing this early struggle. I've seen moments where she is having her moments. I've seen moments where she's pumping up the crowd and telling them not to lose faith and to keep on supporting because they're going to find their way. I think things will work out for WNBA as they need to. And I think the ability to play other teams trying to get at her helps the folks that are saying the WNBA isn't the same quality of basketball and all the kind of misogynist things that they've had. I think that helps counter all that those folks have to say. So I think it all works out and things will continue moving positively for this league going forward. And we'll continue to stay tuned into it all as you noted. So plenty of fun things ahead, and we'll continue to react as the season plays out. So
definitely.
Stuff,
I will definitely be reacting when Nika Mule gets her first WNBA minutes for sure.
Yeah, see, Matt, it's not just me. Yeah, see, it's him too. But anyways, good stuff across the board. Like I said, we'll continue to cover things as they play out. But for now, that'll do it. We'll have more things to say in regards to things going on beyond basketball, MLB, NFL, and beyond. Later on in the week, we'll have another episode back for you guys, reacting to the first games of the conference finals and then talking more about what's going on across other leagues right now. But for now, today, we're going to call it quits in regards to our conversations. A lot of good stuff covered today, and we appreciate the opportunity back in. First episode back in a little while, and glad to get an hour in with you guys and cover some of these big topics. So good stuff in that regard. Lastly, as we do with each episode, we'll get these quizzes out the way. Basketball was all the talk today, so we won't do NFL quizzes. We'll jump straight into NBA connections and all of that. Have a good time with it and call it a day. So first off,
gotta see if there's some WNBA trivia too in the future.
I'm sure that I think one of them has. I'll pull it up as we get this done. But first off, are we going to start? Grizz, I call it game connections. Where you want to start off at?
We can start with the connections, the NBA connections.
NBA connections. Here it is for the day. Your favorite players at the top: Chris Paul, Marvin Bagley, Michael Finley, Larry Johnson, Wes Unseld, Darren Williams, Jose Calderon, Sam Decker, Anthony Davis, Devin Harris, Victor Wembanyama, Rudy Gobert, Frank Kaminsky, Steve Nash, Steph Curry, and Bam Adebayo are names for.
You got those late 2000s point guards: Chris Paul, Darren Williams, Devin Harris. Yeah.
Some good stuff there. Let's start with the old guy. What would Wes Unseld be tied to?
Was he? I know, like he was, like big, known for like his like outlet passing or whatever it was. But
nope.
What else?
Nope.
Who did he play for?
Nope. Say that again.
Who did he play for? Was it like the Nuggets?
I think that was the Nuggets, right?
Wes Unseld. There's no really other older guys. It's just Nash is the oldest.
Yeah.
Oh, Larry Johnson too. And I guess you could call Finley older of this group.
In comparison, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Chris Paul. I feel like there's a point guard related stat one probably going on here. Like steals or
like this.
Or like Nash, maybe.
Oh. Like that.
Maybe, yeah.
One away.
Yeah.
Unseld was the Bullets.
Okay. Washington.
One away here. Would it maybe instead of Nash?
There's only one number one pick here.
Warriors. Steve Nash coached for the Warriors.
There's two. Anthony Davis. Do we have? It's just them two, huh? As far as number one picks, Wemby and AD.
Yeah. But might make a Warriors connection. No.
You're still trying to get this first one?
Yeah, this is one away.
Because it was one away. Yeah.
If you want to do the big, we can do the bigs. Something like this. But we have Marvin and Wes also, and Larry.
Right. I know Decker and Kaminsky were Wisconsin.
Real quick. Mavs.
Finley. Yeah.
No, I'm one away.
Not even one away, yeah.
Bagley. Weren't Decker and Kaminsky the same college team?
Yeah, that's what I said. They played for Wisconsin. Was there a fourth person here that was in that? Because like Bagley was at Duke. I don't know if that was at the same time though.
If yes, who would be the last person?
No one else was really close to that. It would be like AD is like the closest to that time frame.
Yeah, no.
And Bam.
All right, time for our first hint. You can call it.
AD and Bam are both Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
You could do a big hint for whichever. It doesn't matter which category.
2009
assists per game. Yeah, assists per game. So Chris Paul, Nash, Deron Williams, and I guess Jose. Yeah.
Okay. So Steph's not in it. So what would Steph be with? Could it be something like made a Final Four or something like that?
Did he make a Final Four? I remember he made. I think he made Elite Eight.
That was Elite Eight, huh?
Yeah. Do we? I know we have two.
That still could count though. Kaminsky and Decker made obviously made a Final Four. He made an Elite Eight.
I was gonna say all four of these guys are foreign too. I don't know if that would be one, but like Wembanyama, Decker, Kaminsky, Gobert.
Nope.
Nah.
Let's try mine. Nope. All right. Second hint. Big hint for silver. 2024 Depoy vote getters. Oh, okay.
Gobert, AD.
You just saw that. Yeah.
Wemby.
Bam.
And Bam, yeah.
Yeah. Should have saw that one. All right. No hint maybe for this one. We'll see.
Okay.
Last two rows. Bagley, Finley, Johnson, Wes, Sam, Devin, Frank. Okay. I'm pretty sure Frank and Sam go together. They played together on that squad.
They have to.
Okay. So with that, then.
When did Steph get drafted?
That was what, like 08, something like that? Not 08.
No, that's too far. Like 2010 or something like that.
11, something like that. But
so before them.
Wasn't Larry Johnson on one of them? What was that? Was that like not San Diego State? He was on one of the UNLV.
Just put the four oldest guys together, like Unseld, Larry, Finley, and Devin Harris.
Devin Harris catching a stray. Nope.
Is there four bigs? Bagley, Larry, Unseld, and Kaminsky?
Okay, that's not it either. Say it again.
I was saying Bagley, Larry, Unseld, and Kaminsky.
One away. I don't know what that category would be.
I don't either. Something like maybe a stat.
Yeah, your call.
I guess the top one, big hint.
Wisconsin.
Oh, so it was. I don't know who else went to Wisconsin though. I know Kaminsky, Decker.
So I guess Larry Johnson, huh?
I don't think it has to do with these four. Like Kaminsky and Decker for sure.
I mean, so you said one away when I did it.
Yes. So Kaminsky's probably not in that one.
Oh yeah. So take Kaminsky out.
I don't know who went. Well, we know Steph didn't go to Wisconsin. It's either Finley or Harris.
Wisconsin. Harris might have went to Wisconsin. And then
Unseld? I don't know where Unseld or Larry or Finley really went to college.
Finley. Bang. There you go. All right. Bagley, Johnson, West, Steph. Can you think of a category for that?
Were
they all the same?
I don't know I would say I don't know if they all had some like family members that played in the league for sure. I don't know if they're all fathers, but or the
sons of players, something like that.
Something like that, maybe.
That or my only other guess is like draft pick number, like the 13th pick or whatever. Well, no, because wasn't Marvin like 2?
Bagley was high. Steph was lower.
Yeah, or whatever.
We'll see.
Share a birthday. How are we?
All right, next one, man. Next one.
All right.
This one ends up being like the hardest one now.
Yeah.
Because we got the white man connections together.
What the hell is this? I called game.
Ooh, that's an old game.
The old game. That is Knicks and Nuggets.
Dang, I can't even tell how old it is. It's hard to see the.
Yeah, they got to switch it up. There are too many games from like last year. Nuggets are the away team. Knicks are the home team.
Hopefully, we get some better pictures. This is gonna be a struggle if we don't. I can't tell if this is early 2000 or like late 90s. It looks like early 2000 to me. Early 2000s. But I can't even tell who the players are.
I think those dark blue Nuggets jerseys.
It's like a famous game. Oh yeah, those like the Nuggets alternates, huh?
The Nuggets alternates from the Melo days, right?
Yeah, from the Melo days, yeah.
So like somewhere right around there. So just like early 2000s. I don't know if Melo's here. I can't really tell. But I'd say somewhere around 2003.
He's like 2003, right?
Yeah.
So somewhere around there. Let's see.
I'll say 2001. No, okay. So we're going the right way.
It's just the picture's so fuzzy. It makes you think like
later. So maybe this
go to 03 or whatever.
06. Jesus Christ. Okay. It looked like this in 06 still?
I mean, that is 18 years ago though. Like
okay, but I guess. All right then. Game type. Had to be regular season because they never played in the playoffs.
Well, it's different conferences too.
Exactly. Coaches. George Karl.
06. Yes, for the Nuggets. And then 06. Would it still be Woodson back then?
Was Van Gundy a coach? No, not Van Gundy.
No, I don't think. Maybe he also was a Clippers coach around that time too.
Let's try it. Nope.
I would probably guess Woodson then.
Nope. Isaiah Thomas. Wow.
Huh.
Forgot about that. All right. Well,
2006.
JR.
It's gonna be tough.
Trying
to think who was in my NBA Live 06 when I had that game.
Anderson. No. Okay. Was that AI year?
No, I think that was a little later.
Yeah. Was that who else was over there?
Damn, JR was there in 06? Damn.
He was there in 04. He was the year after Melo. God, why am I blanking on this whole squad? Everybody had tattoos. Everybody's mad at them forever because they were the rebels.
Like Wilson Chandler. I don't know if he was there that early though.
07.
07. Yeah. I think I saw that was for the Knicks though. But was Nate Robinson? Yeah, I think I saw Nate.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's like Chris Duhon. Is he around that time?
Is that David Lee?
Yeah, it looks like David Lee.
13 for a bang on this is ridiculous.
13?
Yeah,
Jesus.
come on now. What are we doing? Chris Duhon for which one?
For the Knicks. No.
No. It was Allen Houston there. Oh no, 04.
Shit.
I got nothing, bro.
06 was like so long ago, especially for these teams. 06. 06 is like
I can't even.
That's like one of those years where Kobe was averaging like 35.
Right.
Like,
ridiculous.
Like who else was on those Knicks and Nuggets teams? Is Nene on one of those teams? Nene on the Nuggets?
Yeah.
Is Andre Miller?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Great call.
What's his name? Was Brewer back that far?
No, Brewer was at that was the last year.
The next year, 2007.
Doing championship 06. That was Florida.
Who else? Is what's his name? The dude who was kind of dirty, like D'Anthony Dante Jones. Is that his name? I think it may be on the Nuggets.
Nope. What's going on?
Maybe like a Randy Foye, like on the Knicks or something. I don't know.
So, yeah, I got nothing. I'm submitting.
You don't have any more names you can think of? All right. We only got 2 Knicks out of 10, man. Couldn't even get a starting 5.
The 06 Knicks. I could not tell you the starting 5 of the 06 Knicks just randomly like this.
Probably not that early though. I was thinking like, what's his name? Like Landry Fields.
Was Tim Thomas? The Landry Fields was like mid 2000s or 2010s, I thought.
Yeah.
Tim Thomas isn't over there.
Candace Parker's brother, was he there? Anthony Parker? I don't remember how early.
No. No.
He might have been on the Cavs at that point or something. Yeah, I might have to call it. No one helping us in the.
Nobody in the chat. Nope, Matt's gone.
Yeah, Matt's gone.
Yeah, I'm submitting.
All right.
Marbury. Eddie Curry.
Eddie Curry. Jamal
Crawford.
A lot of these names we should have got. Jamal.
Earl Boykin. Okay, I can be. But the rest of them, yeah, I wasn't getting that. Eduardo Herrera, Earl Boykins, Reggie Evans.
Venus Kleza. I remember Kleza.
Yeah.
DeMar Johnson, that's not a real person.
Top scorer. Melo's a safe bet here. Yeah. Cool. I'll take it.
Still 75% better than most. So, okay.
I'll take it. All right. And the last grid, Warriors, 2-time All-Star, 39% from 3-point. Clippers played in the 90s, and a Sean Livingston teammate. This is a good one. I'm cool with this.
Oh, doing great. Okay.
Okay. So Warriors, Clippers, obviously it's Chris Paul.
Sean Livingston.
Sean Livingston fits that, obviously. Anybody else of note that crosses that box?
I didn't even realize it was Sean Livingston teammate at the bottom too.
Oh, I was like, yeah, it's there.
Played in the 1990s. Who was our old faithful for the Warriors? Mitch Richmond or whatever.
Mitch Richmond, yeah. Yeah, forward take 4%. That's fine. A two-time All-Star in the 90s. Who's a random two-time All-Star? Did John Starks make 2 All-Star games in the 90s?
That's yucky.
Nope.
Yeah.
Did Muggsy Bogues?
Sean Kemp, did he?
Sean Kemp might be a high name. I don't know, 1%. All right, we can take that. 90s 3-point Del Curry. 1%. Yep. I'll take that. Two-time All-Star for the Clippers. DeAndre Jordan's there. Did Eric Bledsoe ever make an All-Star game?
Hell no.
No. Okay.
Eric Bledsoe. Get the fuck. It's strong for no reason.
I was just
get that thing out of here, man.
I'm just reaching for names right now.
Eric Bledsoe.
Just reaching for names right now. Just reaching for names. That's all.
That rap bar that they threw him in is so funny though.
Oh yeah. That's for no reason that Bledsoe. Was Chris Webber ever a Clipper?
I don't think so.
No.
I only remember him as a King.
I see Ronnie Turioff in every NBA jersey. It makes
sense. You love Ronnie Turioff.
It worked. Hey, right. There we go. I swear, I see him in every jersey. It makes sense in my head.
You get Sandro Barbosa.
Who was that? Jordan Hill or Jordan Hill, right? We had the Lakers along the dreads at one point.
Yeah.
What about him? On the Warriors too, wasn't he?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Jordan Hill, right? No. All right. Jordan Bell. But who are you saying?
Barbosa? Oh, I said Barbosa, yeah.
That works. 2%. We'll take it. Two-time All-Star for the Clippers.
Odom was never an All-Star, huh? Because he was more of a sixth man.
He might have maybe had. Did Mobley ever get Cuttino Mobley?
Cuttino?
Did he get 2? Maybe. He might have got 1. I don't know if he got 2. No. They had a few bigs. Oh my god. Corey Maggette. Did he ever make it?
I don't know if he's a 2-time All-Star. You could try him though.
No.
Yeah, those Clipper teams were bad. That's like I remember the names, but they were not good. Like Darius Miles and them too. Like I don't think he was like came in and all of them.
Right.
Probably have to go closer to this generation. Or was I don't know if he was ever 2-time All-Star, but like Van Exel.
He started playing 9. He might have got some early. No, no.
Or what's his name? Who was in Winning Time? Norm Nixon.
Oh, would that count? That counts. I would take it 1%. Yeah. All right, 39% from 3. JJ obviously is a go-to name there. But somebody else had to get 40% 3-point recently. I don't know what else would count. Somebody random on this team probably got it. Did freaking because he didn't even shoot a whole lot. Did somebody like Brandon Boston get or not Brandon Boston? Who's the other? Who's the lefty? Who's the lefty on the squad right now?
He got like Amir Coffey.
Amir Coffey.
I don't think he shoots that well though.
He didn't shoot a lot. He did get it though. See?
Oh, okay.
Another thought. I was like, he didn't shoot a lot. So if he 4 out of 10 over a 20 game span, he could have got that. There you go. 2-time All-Star, Sean Livingston teammate. Those Warrior guys. Draymond might be actually Draymond's a notable name.
Yeah, he's notable. Maybe like Andrew Bogut. Was he like a 2-time All-Star in his early days?
Nope. Oh. I was gonna say another big. I was gonna say DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, if they were teammates, I don't remember if they crossed.
That 1 year he was there, wasn't he? Weren't they teammates? No. Yep, yeah. There you go. And then 39% from 3. Who was a random? Who's that one guy I always say on the Warriors squad that got traded? Anthony Morrow. Did he ever get 40%?
Maybe.
No. All right.
Harrison Barnes.
The Black Falcon. Did he ever get 40? He might have got 40 one year. Yeah. All right. We'll take it. Bang. There we go. There. And then lastly, as we always do, our connections.
Here we go.
Right connections.
It's the one.
Carpenter, Puppet, Magic, Underwear, Tool, Woo. Okay. Cape, Bay, Charm, Pawn, Mask, Instrument, Tights, Spell, Scott, and Hex. All right. There's some play on words here for sure that I'm not seeing yet.
Charm, Magic, Hex, and Spell.
I'm rolling. Bang.
That felt too easy for this game.
Tool, Pawn, Instrument, Carpenter.
I like Tool, Pawn, and Instrument potentially working. Carpenter feels like it only works with Tool, though.
Tights, Underwear, Cape, Mask.
Like superhero type thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Bang.
Yep.
A Pawn. No.
Bay. Scott. I feel like there's one of these with where it goes with another word.
I feel is it Michael Bay,
Michael Scott, Michael Carpenter.
Carpenter. I don't know what that is, but it sounds right. Michael or Michelle Wu.
Is there a Michael Wu?
There's a Michelle Wu, I thought.
Yeah, there is a Michelle Wu. That would be the only other one, right?
And then Tool, Puppet, Pawn, Instrument. We got 4 guesses, so might as well now.
Yeah, go for it.
Bang. Action director. That wasn't the right thing. But still.
It works. It works.
Then Tool, Puppet.
I think it's like, yeah.
This is our best one. We got all our mistakes still available on the board.
What is this one?
Perfect. One being manipulated.
Okay.
All right, all right, we did it kind of fast. Can I pull up the grid real quick?
Or one of those. Do they have those like
they do not have
those trivia things for NBA? For NBA, I mean. You know, like the ones we do for NFL where it's like you have to guess, like you have to fill in the names.
Oh, I can check real quick, but also this has trivia. I don't know if it's the same thing, but I'll click it. Oh, you have to have. I'm not filling this out. All right.
Prime Gaming.
Come on now. What are we doing? All right. Well, what was the site? NFL quizzes. Do they have an NBA version? NBA quizzes. Okay, they do have it. All right. Can you name the player with the most triple doubles in the postseason? Player with the most 40-point playoff games? Every number 1 overall draft pick in the lottery era.
I like that one.
To lead every team to the NBA Finals. NBA players with the most 3-pointers in a single postseason. The yearly playoff leaders in points per game.
That could be tough.
Can you name the players with the highest points per game average in postseason history? Yeah, we can come back to this, but I think the one you said, what was one? Every number 1 pick?
Yeah.
That should be damn near, I don't want to say easy one, but I feel like we can get.
Well, we got it 66%. Let's see.
We can do higher than 25. We can get a few of these.
I feel like, yeah, we can. The goal is 26, but I feel like we can get higher.
Yeah. Year, team, country, or school is the hint there.
Yeah.
Here we go. 5 minutes. Wembanyama, Paolo,
LeBron James,
Banchero. Can we go in order? Detroit. That was Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
That's Anthony Edwards.
Yep.
Duke. Zion. Thank you. Arizona, is that DeAndre Ayton? Dominating. Washington, Markel Fultz.
Damn, I forgot about Markel.
What a time. Kentucky. Carl. Anthony. Big Purr. Anthony Towns. That's Joel. No, Cleveland.
That's Joel. Wiggins. Yeah.
Wiggins. UNLV. That's Anthony
Bennett. God damn, man.
They could have had Giannis in that draft.
True.
Jeez. Imagine. Kentucky. Anthony Davis. Duke. That's is that Kyrie?
Yeah.
Kentucky again, 2010. John Wall. Oklahoma, is that Blake?
Yeah.
Memphis is D Rose.
Yep.
Portland, Ohio State. That's come on now.
Greg Oden.
Greg Oden, thank you.
Man, I felt bad for him.
Yeah. Italy, is that Bargnani?
Bargnani? Was he a number 1 pick?
You forgot about that?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Good Lord. What a waste of a pick.
Milwaukee in 05.
And they went to Utah.
What the hell?
Milwaukee in 05.
How much time we got? Okay, we got time.
That's back when Michael Redd was playing for them, but he was drafted before then.
Yeah. All right, we gotta skip that one. 04 is Dwight. 03 of course is LeBron.
Yao Ming.
Yao.
It's Kwame
Brown. New Jersey, Cincinnati. Kmart wasn't the top pick, wasn't he?
2000.
Not Kevin.
You don't take Kenyon Martin. Oh wow, he was.
Yeah, he was. Okay.
Wow.
Duke. Chicago. In that time they had Tyson Chandler, they had Jamal Crawford.
Is Grant Hill's earlier, huh?
Yeah. Okay, 23 is not as easy as I thought. All right, it is. We still have
26. We just need 3 more.
I was trying to go in order.
Can you scroll a little bit? I just want to see some of the other ones we need to get.
Tim Duncan. Let's just we can go in order now.
Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson. Or we can at least try it and we'll skip down from there. Mm-hmm. Maryland, the Warriors. Any thoughts?
Off the top of my head, no.
Pass. Purdue, Milwaukee.
No, I'm not sure.
Michigan. That wasn't Dwight Howard.
No. Orlando.
It wasn't Penny. Penny didn't go to Michigan.
But Orlando LSU was Shaq.
Yeah, but who went to Michigan? That's Fab Five, isn't it?
I would think so. But throw Shaq in there before we run out of time.
Wait a minute, man. Charlotte. Oh, who was big dude at Charlotte? Who was Duncan? Was that Larry? Not Larry. I just said his name earlier. Larry Johnson.
Yeah.
Syracuse. New Jersey Nets. Nope. The Kings first pick. Oh, they had somebody boo.
Sacramento. Come on. Come on.
One goes to 85.
1988 or 1989.
Patrick Ewing. All right, we got 30 seconds. Any names you just think of? You just throw out. David
Robinson. Yeah.
86 UNC. Is that that wasn't Grant Hill, but I'll just try it.
Michigan. Was any of the top 5 like Weber or any of them?
One. Weber.
Yeah. I was like, did they get drafted there? We get traded?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Robinson, Joe Smith, Danny Manning, Bogut. That you said earlier. All right. Michael Olowokandi.
Elton Brand. Okay. Got traded. All
right. That was good. You want to do another one? Or we good?
No, we're good. We're good.
All right. Good episode today. Fun stuff. Appreciate everybody tapping in as you guys do. We'll be back later on in the week to talk more about NFL things that are going on. Talking more now that the draft and the schedule is out and all that kind of stuff is now wrapped up. We'll talk some more about the Dodgers, what's going on with them. Then we have traders, and I believe that we'll react to. I think they acquired their pitcher. I think I saw recently, amongst other things going on. And while things are going well, we'll just come back and just have more to talk about with you guys as things play out, and we consistent from here going forward. So we appreciate the opportunity as you guys do. Excited to see how these playoffs continue on from here. And a lot of things are up for us across the board. So good stuff on the way. And thank you all for sticking with us for this hour and a half we were on today. Any words from you, Alec?
And let my girl Nika play, man. Stop playing with her with these visas, man.
For Nika? All right, for sure. I think they just said she's about to be played. So you
free
get Nika sooner than you think. So good stuff there. We're on our way out of here. You got a salute still, or is the salute killed by Cat?
Cat really ruined the game for us all, man. I still gotta throw up my salute. That's my signature, but man.
All right, man. So we got it here. All eyes on Alec right now as we close out. We'll see y'all, man. Peace. There you go. Big Bird.